Hello, you join me on a great day here at DSHQ. You'll notice that the boxes from the last couple of videos are gone. My wife actually finished building her desk. And also the heat wave is over. Fantastic. Let us celebrate by drinking some agave-based spirits. Raicilla. Raicilla is agave-based spirit from Jalisco, but not tequila. This is from the West Coast. Well, kind of the southern part of the West Coast. And today we're going to be doing their... I've done some Raicillas before, but today we're going to be doing one of the larger bottlers, La Venenosa. I've got 3 of their offerings, which I am... I like all 3 of these. I wish I could be spending more time with them. I've had these lying around for months, and it's more like I just get like a pour out of them, every couple of months, basically. So today is the first time I really had a chance to sit down and enjoy these things, and we're gonna review them for you. Okay, so this first one, the Tabernas, is basically their entry-level bottling. You should be able to get this for $40 to $50. What is this? This is from Tabernero, Chalio Rodriguez. It's made from agave Chico aguiar, which is basically wild Espadin. So wild Espadin from the coast of Jalisco. El Tuito is the village, and there's a bunch of other information on like fuel and fermentation, and it's wild fermented. I'm sorry. That I'm not going to put a whole lot of this down below. I'll put a bunch, but the important thing about this is Filipino still, so-called Filipino still, double distilled, and this particular lot was made in March 2018. So it's not completely fresh, but let's give it a whirl. All right, so this should be their entry-level offering. 2,900 bottles of this. 44.5% ABV. And a really, really awesome nose right off the bat. I mean, there's certain hallmarks I come to expect anytime I'm approaching Espadin, even when it's wild Espadin that's been distilled in a Filipino style still. This does not immediately scream Espadin at me. I am getting celery, but it's almost like a pickled celery kind of note. Lots of lemon peel, lots of almost like a dairy carrot, like sour cream. There's a dusty thing on this. It's not really like dirt. It's more like just like trail dust, but you mixed up the trail dust with like some white pepper as well. The more you swirl this, the more kind of fruitier it becomes. There's a little bit of kiwi that comes out. And also a touch of pool water, but nice. And this is going to sound not good, worse than the pool water thing maybe, but lime cordial. The little Rose's lime juice thing. There's a little bit of that going on, but don't be scared. Fun. It's a relatively light nose, but it's really interesting and different, and there's lots of little things going on the palate. Okay. Well, okay, 2 things. First of all, this is pretty light. Like imagining maybe there was some just some relatively quick fermentation going on here. But also it's much more kind of espadini on the palate than it is on the nose. So I'm getting lots of celery, lots of fresh mint. There's a little bit of a sweet note going on. It's hard to nail down. What is that? The best I can do is, you ever tried honey milk? Honey, so it's a kind of little home remedy thing. You heat up some milk, you put some honey in it, you drink it when you're sick. This has a little bit of a honey milk kind of thing going on. What else? It's light, it's subtle, but again, there's lots of little things going on. Tonic water. Some kind of mineral, like sand. Just like go to your local beach, pick up some sand, put it in your mouth. There's a little bit of that. White pepper again. Touch of floral, touch of like dried flowers, little lime pith in there. Not peel, this is the pith. Something else kind of dairy driven. Yeah, there's like a little bit of, what is that? On the back end. A little bit of like aged camembert. So like you left your camembert in the fridge for like a month, but then you were like, it's fine. We'll eat it anyways. And there's a little bit of that like soft cheese funk right on the finish. Again, it's pretty light, but I'm enjoying this. And to be honest, then if a handful of people that right now are spending their money on the mass of generic, over-smoked, big brand Oaxaca mezcals out there around the same kind of $40 to $50 price point, if a couple of them switch to this, I feel like we would be living in a better world. I really do. All right, let's move on. I'm sorry, let me give this some water and we will move on. It's only like 44 and a half, so I'm only going to give it like half a squirt. And we'll see what happens. All right, next up, the orange label, Venenosa. Should really close that window, but oh well. This is the Sierra del Tigre de Jalisco, distilled by Don Luis Contreras. And there's lots of really interesting things going on here. So first of all, the agave is Inaequidens, which is Bruto. That is an agave that you find more often in Michoacan than you do in Jalisco. So that's already kind of cool. The village is La Manzanilla. One of my favorite kinds of sherry, actually. And it is clay pot distilled, and it is distilled once. So clay pot distilled once. That is very interesting. This is lot 27, if you're curious, and it is 44.8% alcohol. Single distilled things are a huge thing I'm curious about, so I'm really eager to try this. What? So I've talked about dairy notes on agave spirits before, but not quite at this level. This is like dairy funk heaven. If you like the cheese on your agave, you will love this. So I'm getting sour cream and gorgonzola right off the bat. And that's most of what's happening, actually. There's not this is kind of something that's, common to a lot of clay distilled spirits. There isn't a whole lot of notes to kind of gather around and impress your YouTube viewers with, but the notes that are there are so vivid and round and three-dimensional. There's some lime peel. There's some like what is that? Like almost seaside rocks. I want to say clay, but it's not quite clay. It's more like seaside rocks and like sea salt. But really, like then we're back to cheese. Pecorino Romano. Oh God, I love this. I love it. This is it's such an extreme nose. Like this is not for everyone. Like I know you're watching this and you see me like enthused about this, but please realize like there are a lot of people, even the folks watching this channel, that are not going to like this nose. There's a lot of cheese. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of notes I can give on this because I'm not getting a lot, but they're just so fun and so distinctive and so, I don't know, deep. On the palate, here we go. Oh, good Lord. Just stunningly good. Again, a lot of people are going to be repulsed by this, so bear that in mind. But this is covering my entire mouth with like clay and rock salt and cheese, like all the cheese, sour cream, Stilton, Parmesan. I can make a whole long list of cheeses. Throw in like a little spritz of key lime in there as well. I mean, the flavors are unique. The flavors are really wild and special. But it's also just the delivery of this, the way this feels in the mouth. This is silky. This is absolutely gorgeous. Again, for me, a lot of people are going to feel differently. But yeah, I like this one a lot. Again, I can't throw a lot of notes at you, aside from a list of cheeses. But that's not really what this is about. It's a handful of notes and just fantastic delivery of what it's got. Yeah, wow. Really impressed by that. I'm going to give that a squirt of water. We shall come back to it. And then there's the bomb of the bunch. Puntas. La Venenosa El Lobo de la Sierra. Puntas by Don Gerardo Peña. This is the only one here distilled in a metal pot still, a stainless steel alembic. This was distilled in, where's the village? Jacales. Now, puntas. What the heck are puntas? If you are wandering into a conversation among agave nerds, at some point, someone will mention puntas and everyone else will just start going crazy shouting puntas back and forth at each other, and you will go, okay, amazing, I agree. And you're like, what the hell is puntas? Okay, puntas is a very specific cut when you're in the middle of your batch distillation. So you have your 4 shots, right? You start distilling. That's what comes off first. It's the gross stuff that's kind of toxic. You're going to throw that away. And then you get your heads, which is it's better. It's drinkable. Generally, it's not exactly what you want, but you're going to save it maybe to redistill or maybe just kind of blend into your batch later. And then you have your hearts, which is definitely going in. You have your tails, which you're going to kind of treat the same as your heads. What puntas is a very specific kind of cut made at more something like the transitional point between the heads and the hearts, when you start to get a whole lot of ethanol right at once. So this thing is 64% alcohol by volume, making this one of the strongest. I think this is the strongest agave-based spirit I've ever tried. This is also agave Maximiliana, which is a very special, chemically unique sort of agave, known for its medicinal properties, apparently. So this is a rather old lot. This is lot 4 from September 16, so it's been around a while. But I'm really eager to try this. Ooh. I might have poured a gin by accident. I am getting some intense lemon lime peel, but it's not. It's almost more like redistilled, like lemon lime peel. Light juniper, botanicals. It really does smell like a gin or something. But then there's like a mineral note, like there's some like sandstone, some rocks going in there, which are kind of not gin-like. Fresh mint, fennel, pool water again. Interesting. It's very, very, very aromatic. It's very, very, very aggressive on the nose. It smells big. So what's fun about these, all 3 of these, is they are completely unique. Like every single one of these, despite coming from the same region, is completely different in how it smells, and I'm going to assume how it tastes. Let's see what happens on the palate. All right, 64%. Here we go. Good Lord. Yeah. Does not disappoint. This is eye-wateringly powerful. It's just huge. Definitely. So definitely sort of high-toned, as us wine folks would say, and again, very, very gin-like. You can tell it's not gin if you're paying attention, but if you're not, you might be tricked. Like just a barrage of citrus peel, botanicals, juniper, dried flowers. I don't know how much of this I can take. Intense mint, but like not like fake like mint essence, like toothpaste mint. This is like this is real mint, like earthy mint. Mint that you just dug up out of some soil. It's still got some dirt on it. That mint. There's some fennel. There's some rocks again. A little sea salt, rosemary. Jesus Christ. This is not playing around. And now I'm worried that this is going to wreck my palate for going back through these one more time. Yeah, I'm going to say, like, even without trying these again, this is a palate wrecker. This bottle is an absolute palate wrecker. If you are, something at the level of Lafroig, of like high ester Jamaican rums, treat this like that. Like, this will absolutely inhibit your ability to taste anything else afterwards. So definitely respect it at that level. Good Lord. Okay, I'm going to add some water to this. It's going to take at least 5 squirts, I know. Probably more. It's got so much power, but at the same time, like, you can tell the quality is very, very high. I'm going to come back to that, and let's go through these again, and hopefully I can still taste them. God almighty. Okay, back to the Tabernas. I'm not even going to pay attention to my first recipe of this because my palate just tastes like puntas right now. That's all I'm tasting. Okay, I'm going to nose this Tabernas. Here we go. It's very similar on the nose to before. Maybe gets a little bit more dusty. That honey milk thing, that kind of plays up a little bit. Yeah, after the puntas, I'm definitely appreciating like how like subtle and understated this is. There's not a ton of development in the nose, but there's a little bit, which is a good sign. I like having a little bit of development. On the palate, still mostly tasting puntas. Let me try that again. There we go. Interesting. So with a little bit of water, that kind of like very obvious Espadin profile I was talking about on the palate, which is not the nose, kind of pulls back a little bit. You've still got a little bit of celery and mintiness going on, but it's much more about, you know, like those kind of dusty sour cream sorts of notes after you add some water. This is really nice, actually. It's lightly green, minerally dusty. It's light, but it's doing a pretty good job of covering my entire mouth. I don't know. I'm sort of waffling on the score of this. It is absolutely light. It is you know, especially compared to these monsters. But I can't really punish it for that, so I'm not going to screw this up. This is an 85-point Raicilla. 85 points for the La Venenosa Tabernas. I'm really into this. And again, as I said before, more people who are spending their money on over-smoked, mass-produced mezcal should be buying this instead. It's just better. I'm even going to go on a limb and say this would make a better Paloma than those. All right, let's move on. Not gonna lie, this is kind of my favorite of the tasting so far. Back to the orange label, the Sierra del Tigre. All right, on the nose. This will never get old. If anything, I'm getting even more sour cream now. This smells like a bowl of borscht that's just been overloaded with all the sour cream. That's what I'm smelling. So if you are an Eastern European who eats tons of borscht and sour cream, like, you will probably enjoy this. Go buy a bottle. But it's also like there's a little bit of more dustiness and kind of minerality kind of showing up now. I'm just really impressed with this. This is it's got its own kind of logic to it. You have to kind of like just take your time finding your way into how this is doing what it's doing. But this Venenosa orange it's very special. On the palate, here we go. That is silly good. That's really good. It's not just the notes. The notes are like take all the cheese you can find, add some pickles and some like pop rocks, throw in all the clay and like some like limey stuff. But what's really seducing me about this is just the way, the texture, the silkiness of this, the way it. I feel like it's massaging my mouth with cheese as I'm drinking this. Good Lord. I mean, this is not a, like, you're going to find a middle ground kind of spirit. There are going to be a couple of people like me who adore this, who think it's absolutely phenomenal and love it. And there are going to be a lot of people who are repulsed by this stuff. So I'm going to score this 90 points because I think it's right there. I think the quality absolutely calls for that. But, like, listen to what I'm saying. Do not just pay attention to the score. Don't just run out and buy a bottle of this. This is one you need to try in advance because otherwise you will be stuck with it and you will hate me and you will write angry comments down below even though I warned you. This is cheese Raicilla and you should be aware of that. But yeah, I'm absolutely blown away by this. Huge props to La Venenosa for putting out something like this and for Don Luis Contreras for making it. Really, really special product. All right, but let us move on to the only one that the agave bros care about. Puntas. Round 2. Here we go. It still smells like gin. It smells like the best gin, but it still smells like gin. With water, it may have gotten a little bit fruitier, a little bit more on like lemon lime stuff. But it's really hard to tell. I mean, it was, really enormous and high toned before, and it kind of still smells that way. Not that I'm complaining. This is I'm having fun with this. All right, let us give this Puntas one more shot on the palate. Here we go. Huh. That's not what I was expecting. So it's still very, very intense. Actually gets a little bit like kind of minty sweet. But it actually gets shorter in my mouth. Like the mouth length, as I say sometimes, is a little bit shorter. It's really not going anywhere back beyond my molars. Which is sort of the opposite of what I usually expect when I throw water into things. Usually, the mouth length will improve. I mean, it's good. It's really good. But I don't think it has the depth. It certainly doesn't have the texture of the Sierra del Tigre. Another very, very difficult one to score. Like the Puntas Bros are going to give this 127 points, no matter what I say. I can't be that positive on this. I'm going to give this 88 points. Like, it feels sort of like the agave equivalent of some of those really big, like, sherried malts, you know, that are no age statement, just tons and tons of sherry stacked in, the Abrelauer Abonaz, that kind of thing. It kind of feels like that. And they're good. They're delicious. They're huge. And you have to give them credit for that. But am I going to push them past 90? No, I'm not. All right, and that's kind of the show. Yeah, really, really strong lineup here. This is mine. This is my stuff right here. I really like this. You may not, but just be aware that this is something to try before you buy. All of these are pretty good. All of these are very different. I think the Tabernas is perfect for like just Tuesday night agave drinking or throwing into, you know, your palomas or whatever it is you do. I think the Sierra del Tigre is enormously special and delicious. I think the Puntas is an absolute bomb. It's not my favorite thing in the world stylistically, but I have to acknowledge the quality and the style of this. Really, really good lineup. 85 points, 90 points, 88 points. Question of the video. What is your experience with Raicilla? Thanks for watching and cheers.